There's a moment, quiet, familiar, when you feel the pull to disappear inside yourself. Not physically, not dramatically, just emotionally. Someone says something that stings. A boundary trembles. Your body knows it hurts, but your voice says, it's fine. You smile instead of speak. You swallow instead of scream. And slowly, without realizing it, you leave yourself behind. That's emotional self-abandonment. The silent habit of leaving your own feelings to stay connected to someone else's comfort. You trade authenticity for acceptance, truth for peace, your voice for belonging. It's a coping pattern born from love's earliest lessons. When expressing your pain led to punishment, you learned to suppress it. When your needs were too heavy for the room, you learned to disappear. And so you grew into an adult who apologizes for existing too loudly, who checks everyone else's temperature before noticing your own, who feels safest when you're small. Psychologists call this fawning, a survival response that prioritizes harmony over honesty. It's empathy turned inward until it erases the self. But the cost of always keeping the peace is that you forget what your peace even feels like. So tell me, when did you first learn that being yourself was dangerous? When did honesty start to feel like betrayal? And what would it mean to finally stop leaving yourself behind every time someone else gets uncomfortable? Because the truth is, you can't heal in a world where your love for others keeps costing you. You didn't plan to make yourself disappear. It happened gradually, moment by moment. Every time you softened your truth to keep the peace, every time you took responsibility for someone else's reaction. You learned that connection was safer than honesty, that silence was protection, that the less you needed, the longer people stayed. Maybe you grew up in a home where emotions felt too big for the walls, where anger meant danger, or sadness meant shame. So you adjusted, perfectly, invisibly, learning to read moods like maps and navigate around other people's storms. In psychology, this pattern sits under adaptive compliance, a behavior that starts as survival and later becomes identity. You mistake calm for safety because, as a child, your calmness kept everyone else from breaking. Now, as an adult, you still carry that same reflex. You overunderstand. You forgive before being asked. You anticipate needs before they're voiced. And when someone hurts you, you analyze instead of feel. You say things like, I get why they did that, as if empathy could replace boundaries. But empathy without boundaries is self-erasure. It's loving others while ghosting yourself. So I'll ask you, when was the last time you said what you really felt without editing it to sound easier? When was the last time you stayed when your instinct said leave, just to protect someone's comfort instead of your peace? That's not selflessness. That's abandonment, a quiet leaving of the self in exchange for the illusion of love. And it's time to come home. Emotional self-abandonment feels like peace at first. You tell yourself you're just being kind, understanding, patient. You tell yourself you're choosing your battles. But underneath that calm is a body tightening, a chest that forgets how to expand. You start living two versions of yourself, the one you show to the world, and the one whispering quietly underneath, what about me? But that whisper gets quieter over time. You silence it with logic, they didn't mean to. You smother it with guilt, I'm being too sensitive. You even disguise it with pride, I'm strong enough to handle this. And that's how it happens. You start calling your own neglect maturity. Psychologists describe this as identity suppression, a long-term response to conditional love. When you were younger, authenticity felt unsafe. So now, even as an adult, you flinch at your own truth. You've learned to monitor not just what you feel, but how much of it is acceptable. Have you ever noticed how often you say, I'm okay, when you're anything but? How you comfort people who've hurt you, just to make the tension disappear? How you keep forgiving before they even apologize? That's not peacekeeping, that's self-ghosting. And the danger of disappearing for too long is that you start to forget where you end and others begin. But here's the quiet truth. Your peace can't depend on being agreeable. Real love won't crumble under your honesty. You're allowed to have edges. You're allowed to take up emotional space. You don't have to vanish to stay loved. When you've spent years abandoning yourself, coming back feels unnatural. It feels selfish. It feels loud. Because your body has learned that safety means silence, that your needs are disruptions, that your sadness is inconvenient, your anger is dangerous, and your truth is too heavy for anyone to hold. So you keep shrinking in conversations, in relationships, even in your own thoughts. You translate every instinct into diplomacy. You soften every no until it sounds like maybe. You make yourself digestible, and the world rewards you for it. People call you calm, understanding, emotionally intelligent. They say you're so easy to be around. They don't see that you've built your likability on a foundation of disappearing. In trauma work, this is often described as invisible survival, when your safety depended on how small you could make your needs. It's not that you lack boundaries. It's that you were never allowed to have them without consequence. Have you ever noticed how you apologize for things that aren't your fault? Or how you immediately try to comfort someone who's hurt you, as if your pain might scare them away? That's not empathy. That's fear dressed as care. But here's the truth. You don't have to choose between honesty and love. You don't have to perform calmness to deserve connection. The right people won't need you to disappear to stay. So maybe the real work isn't finding peace with others. It's remembering that your presence was never the problem. Healing emotional self-abandonment doesn't start with confrontation. It starts with permission. Permission to be honest, to take up space, to stop translating your feelings into something more comfortable for others. Because self-abandonment isn't just about silence. It's about self-betrayal in small, almost invisible ways. It's okay when it's not. I don't mind when you do. The laugh that hides the sting. So, the first step toward healing is to pause. When you feel yourself slipping into appeasement, stop and ask, what do I actually feel right now? You don't have to act on it, just notice it. Naming your feelings is how you remind your nervous system that you exist beyond other people's approval. Psychologists call this self-realignment, the act of returning to your internal truth before responding to the world. It's how you build trust with yourself again. Try this. Each time you say yes, out of fear, practice replacing it with let me think about it. It's a bridge between your old reflex and your new boundary. You're teaching your body that pause doesn't mean rejection, it means self-respect. And when guilt shows up, because it will, remind yourself, guilt isn't a sign you're wrong, it's a sign you're growing. It's your nervous system adjusting to freedom. Have you ever noticed how peace feels uncomfortable at first? How expressing truth makes your chest tighten? That's not danger. That's your soul stretching back into its full size. The goal isn't to stop caring. It's to care without leaving yourself behind. One day, you'll notice something has shifted. You'll speak your truth, softly, clearly, and the world won't collapse. Someone might frown, someone might leave, and you'll feel that familiar ache rise up, the urge to apologize, to shrink, to fix it. But you won't. You'll breathe instead. You'll stay with yourself. And in that quiet, steady moment, you'll realize you didn't lose love. You just stopped losing yourself. That's the real recovery, when your safety stops depending on who stays and starts depending on you staying with you. Because the part of you that kept disappearing was never weak, it was loyal. Loyal to survival. Loyal to peace in a world that didn't make space for your truth. But now you know, survival isn't the same as living, and peace isn't the same as silence. You are allowed to exist without adjusting. You are allowed to disappoint people and still be good. You are allowed to choose yourself without it being selfish. So tell me, have you ever caught yourself saying, I'm fine, when you weren't? What would it mean to start saying what's real instead of what's safe? If you could give your younger self one promise, what would it be? Maybe, I won't leave you again. Maybe, my truth belongs here too. Before you go, share this quietly with the friend who always holds it together. The one who never lets their pain show. Because maybe they've been gone from themselves for too long, and it's time they came home too.